Looking to make some quick cash on Shadows Over Innistrad pre-orders? Want to find the next Jace Vryn's prodigy? Then this video is for you. Stay tuned to learn how to identify sleepers in Magic the Gathering. Hello everybody, Andy here from the Virtual Economist, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the first Magic the Gathering video on the channel. In this video, I will be talking about sleepers. For those of you who do not know what a sleeper is, here's an easy definition. A sleeper is a card underrated during spoiler season, which goes up later, usually during the Pro Tour or subsequent GPs. Some of the most recent examples of sleepers include Hangerback Walker and the notoriously expensive Planeswalker, Jace Vryn's Prodigy. They pre-ordered for $3 and $15 and now are worth $10 and $90 respectively. It's amazing to see how many format staples are underrated during spoiler season, and nobody has bothered to figure out why this happens so often. In this video, I'll be outlining how to identify potential sleepers by delving into the reasons why these cards pre-ordered for so little. First, I want to ask a question. Why do sleepers exist in the first place? Well, the answer is fairly straightforward. When new cards are released, players want to get their hands on them so they can use them in decks. For some cards, the demand is high, and for others, the demand is very low. A card becomes a sleeper when a low-demand card suddenly becomes a high-demand card after performing well in a tournament. People naturally want to play the best deck in the format, so as they buy in, the supply dwindles and the sleeper spikes accordingly. First, I want to make it clear that Standard most often drives sleepers up. Occasionally, Modern has effect, but sticking to Standard is best for new speculators. Trying to find sleepers in formats like Commander or Legacy or Casual will fail 95% of the time. Commander players only need one copy of a card and don't immediately need their copies, and there aren't enough players or tournaments for new Legacy cards to go up, and Casuals just simply doesn't create demand for new cards. Rarity is also key when trying to find sleepers. While it might seem obvious, you should only try and speculate on rares and mythics. There are simply too many commons and uncommons from new sets out there to have an effect on the price, even if they are overlooked at first. One important tip is to know that rares over $5 and mythics over $15 rarely have upside, so I usually try and stick to speculating on lower value cards. It's hard to see upside in a card that already has a high pre-order tag. For instance, buying Thing in the Ice for $20, even if you think it's really good, won't make you any money because most imprint rares can't sustain more than $10. It has to be a multi-format all-star to maintain that price tag, and even if it is, I highly doubt it could go above $20. Sleepers need to be in a competitive deck to go up, regardless of how good they are. Also consider that first sets are opened much more than second sets, so there are typically more sleepers in second sets as there is less supply. This also determines a card's ceiling, as for example, first set rares usually spike to $4 to $5, where second set rares usually go to $8 to $10. There are three main categories all sleepers seem to fall into. The first of these categories is bad comparisons. The second are hard to evaluate cards, and the third are cards without a home. The first category we're going to be looking at is bad comparisons. Because of how many cards have been printed in Magic's long history, many new cards resemble old ones, and how the old cards perform dictates many people's opinions on the new cards. For instance, when Courser of Kruphix was revealed, people called it a bad Oracle of Moldiah and immediately dismissed the card. People looked past the card advantage, good stat distribution, and life gain, all of which made it the mid-range powerhouse it was in Standard. Everyone was so caught up that it didn't say you could play an extra land that pre-order prices were suppressed because of this. Some other examples of this phenomena are Den Protector, as people called it a laughably bad Eternal Witness, and even Jace Vryn's Prodigy, which people called a bad Merfolk Looter. Seriously, many pros thought flipping him was a downside. Boy, how they were wrong. The second category of potential sleepers are the hard-to-evaluate cards. Many cards released have new and unique abilities, and with no card to compare to them, many people just don't see the true power of them. For example, Colligan's Command pre-ordered for a measly $3. Why was that? Well, the abilities all seemed very situational, and 3 mana was a lot for these abilities. Most everyone thought it was a command with underpowered modes, rather than the 2-for-1 that it always was. People even called it the worst of the new commands. A second example of this is Collected Company. This type of card had never been printed before, and the ability seemed to force you into playing a creature-only strategy. While this is still true, people didn't realize how good the card was and how it made up for the deck-building restriction. Boy, it even made its own archetypes. The third category of potential sleepers are the cards that do not have a home. These cards seem to have potential, but the deck they would be played in would never exist. For example, when Theros was released, everyone thought Master of Waves was a really pushed card. But no one expected a mono blue creature deck to be dominating Standard. And then it happened, spiking Master of Waves over $15. A second example of this is Hangerback Walker. Nobody in their right mind thought that an artifact deck running lots of underpowered cards would be good in Standard, so most people ignored Hangerback Walker's upside. This, coupled with the fact that Wizards hasn't printed a good artifact creature in years, deterred people from seeing the true power in the card, especially outside of an artifact deck. With the three categories out of the way, I want to talk about other useful bits of information regarding sleepers. If you are new to Magic or the Standard format in general, finding sleepers will be tough, even if you follow all the advice in this video. Wanting to be a speculator without playing the game is a very bad idea, as knowing how cards interact with each other in Standard is key to finding good sleepers. For instance, seeing how the Blue-Red Artifacts deck could work before the Pro Tour would direct you towards speculating on Hangerback Walker, which would have made you a lot of money. Before I wrap this up, I want to acknowledge that if you have a gut feeling about a card being good, you shouldn't try and convince yourself otherwise by other people in the community. Even Magic finance experts miss most sleepers, and blindly accepting all the predictions will not make you a lot of money. Just read Chaz Andre's set reviews on Star City Games, or listen to the Brainstorm Brewery Crew's complete set review podcast. It's funny to hear them shooting down the best cards in the set. With Shadows Over Innistrad releasing soon, I'll most likely make a video on my picks for sleepers in the set. I hope this guide helped you on where to start looking for sleepers and hopefully save money, as Magic can be a very expensive hobby. If you like this video and want more Magic videos, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more videos like this. But for now, goodbye.